This is like Matt's house.
Alright.
And yeah, look at all the goddamn shoes.
That's all we need to see, right? To understand it, right?
Man, it's so guilty gear in here. The camera loves you.
Hi guys, welcome to one of my new videos I wanted to make. So it's a series on pretty much interviewing just fighting game players in every scene. And what I wanted to do was pretty much capture every player who is not like a well-known player but has contributed to the scene in some way or in some manner. So today I wanted to bring my friend on here. He's done a lot for the anime scene in the past, and I wanted to just pretty much record his history and see how it links to how things are today. So my goals for these interviews is to just cover the player, see who they are, have them talk about latest fighting game news, and just see what's going on in the fighting game world that they're in. Go over what he has done for the community and the achievements that they have accomplished. And then lastly, do you have any advice for old or new players or brand new players that are probably interested in the fighting game scene? So today I have my friend Matt or Pulsr. So, hi Matt.
Hey, what's up, Stacy? Or should I call you Sonoshi?
Either or, actually. Just to get started, Matt. So, your handle is Pulsr. Can you give me some origins on that handle?
So the origin of it is actually specifically, I guess let's back up a little bit. So yeah, my name's Matt. My handle is Pulsr. It comes from the best Final Fantasy VIII. Quistis's super move was called Shockwave. Was it Shockwave Pulsr? I think it was Shockwave Pulsr, and that's where I got Pulsr from.
Oh, okay.
I think it's called Shockwave. I don't remember. Actually, I don't even remember what it was called. I know it was Quistis's attack, the girl with the whip.
Yeah. But why did you like that move? I
don't remember any. I think I just liked the name of it, and that was the beginning of it, and that was the end of it as well.
How old were you?
I don't know, probably. I don't.
Because everyone's handle comes from I was 12 years old when I made this.
Yeah, I had been when I'm 13 or 14. Because there was before that, my handle was Chaotic Goo, which was a Magic the Gathering card. and then at one point, I think I played Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, "This is the best game ever!"
Oh wow!
And then I took the word Pulsr from that girl's special move. And the funny thing is, I didn't even like that character that much. But I like the name of it, so I think that's how I kept the way Pulsr in there.
So the most important question is, what's your favorite Final Fantasy then?
Can I just say 6?
I mean, that's a safe one to say, yes. So were you playing fighting games around the time you made the handle?
Probably. I think it's probably when I started to sign up for Shoryuken, as I probably decided to switch from Chaotic Goo to the Pulsr. And that's probably... So,
I guess it's a good segue into what was your first competitive fighting game?
The first one I ever entered was probably one that I got forced into when I was at Southern Hills Golfland. It was I want to say it was Soul Calibur 1. And they were just short on players. I was there to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I also played Soul Calibur, and I think I was I don't think I was even 16. I'm pretty sure we had our friend's mom take us. I'm almost positive that was the case. And I played Soul Calibur. and I picked Nightmare, and I just remember just trying to throw people and ring them out all day. Yeah.
Did you say you were forced to play?
Yeah, they were short. The brackets were uneven. If you don't know, that's just a situation where,
I don't!
We have 27 people. Sure would be nice to get a 28. And I'm like, oh, I'll do it. Yeah, cool. And then they covered my entry, and I played.
So what made it competitive for you? Is it just because people played it at that high level, or you just wanted to get better?
See, that's the thing. That was the first time I experienced a competitive setting, right? I've never considered myself competitive in that way. I've never been a tournament kind of person, right? I know when I play my friends, I'm pretty competitive in the sense that I want to be the best, right? That I want to be stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. But I'll never enter a tournament. I'll never enter a tournament willingly because
go on.
Because to me, tournaments just take too much time. There's not enough time of me just playing. I want to run my first to 50 right there, right now, instead of waiting 3 hours and then have Kevin go, "Matt, you're up."
But isn't okay? So yeah, there's nothing wrong with tournaments. It's just the format of tournaments then.
Yeah, I just hate waiting. That's really what it comes down to. I want to be playing all the time. I want to be absorbed into the match. I want to just be fighting someone. You know, I don't. Especially if they're like out of state, right? Like, why would I want to fight some guy from North Carolina once and then just like, all right, that was cool. Sick.
That's a good point. So what you're saying is, if it's a long set, you'll probably beat him.
No, I've never said that. I said.
Okay, I'm just joking. I was putting.
I mean, at the same time, I go. There's a good chance I'll get some good wins in there, though. I know. I'm trying. I don't. Honestly, I don't think I think that deeply. I just think I want to play now. I want to play again. 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 Right? It's because it's about adrenaline. Like not an adrenaline, but like a desire to keep playing. Right? I have a lot of fun flexing my mental muscles in like those situations. Right? Because like when I play, right, I'm not always aiming to win. I'm looking for like specific things in a match that I want to get through. I want to perform and make sure I could do to my opponent. And that's what it fuels my. Because I'm never trying to aim to fully win. I'm just trying to aim to fulfill my mental desires as I see them in a match.
Okay.
And if I do win, cool.
Let's go into hot fighting game topics. So basically, right now the hot thing is Strive.
Yes.
As you know, people I think tonight are going to be streaming Strive beta. Like I know Kizzy is. I know James Chen is. Because it's coming out.
Really? I didn't know. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so it's coming out in a few hours, honestly. So I guess first question is, what is a character that interests you?
Okay, so
either play that you want to play or that you should watch out for.
For me, like me personally, right? They're talking about myself that I want to play. Yeah. I'm probably gonna pick Mei, only because I don't know if you saw me on stream, right? Where I just saw like when she crouches, like she stands and crouches, right? Her hat has to like catch up to her. And I was like, I'm gonna play this character because this animation is great, and that's all I need. That's all I need to pick a character, and that's all it is. But if we're talking about more of a character that interests me, like mechanically, or like more of like his actual character design, it'd probably be Chip. That's probably one of. I
haven't heard that much.
Huh?
Yeah, I haven't heard many people talk about Chip. That's why.
Oh, because he looks super smooth. He's still a very much a momentum character, right? He did lose his teleports, right? That's a pretty big deal, right? No cheeky teleport FRCs, right? But what he does have is he does have the Gamma Blade, right? His new Gamma Blade, right, where he sends his chip clone. He could do that during block string, right? So that move is still plus. And I like that idea that he always can keep frame advantage if he's willing to gamble his life bar, right? Because he sends his clone out, and if they jab it, you lose life. I was like, damn, I like this character. So I think that's pretty fun. I want to gamble my life on a character that literally needs all of his life to not die.
So, after pretty much watching the video on the game mechanics, is there a certain game mechanic that Strive is bringing that you either were surprised about or you feel like people should take advantage of?
That's a good question. Really good question. But I like a lot of the changes. I think they're all pretty clever in a way, right? Because I'm looking at, because I didn't play too much Exerd, right? I didn't really stick around for Exerd because at that point I left for Japan, right? So I didn't have access to an arcade, so I didn't really play too many fighting games at that point. But what I can say is that the limited experience I did have with Exerd was that the YRC system was global, right? If you did your RC whatever, right? If you would slow down your opponent even though they're like half a mile away, right? If I'm correct, right? So, but now the way they changed the RC system in the game, it's a little circle around it to make it more encompassed around you, and maybe if your opponent's in that area. I think that's a really great change, and I'm really glad they implemented a mechanic like that while they still kept the essence of the old Exerd system. So I think that's a really cool change. That's why I'm like okay, I can see how they're trying. They tweak a flaw in the mechanic to make it better for everyone else, I think, and that's what I'm really cool with the RC system. I also really like the insta blocking because a lot of the changes
that did change, right?
Yeah, they're trying to make it less like if you the current IB system, in my opinion, is pretty intense, right? I was describing in my stream too that like a lot of characters have to be built around insta blocking because insta blocking is so powerful, right? That's why you have a lot of characters. So like we don't really quick overview of insta blocking, right? When you insta block attack, you basically get more frame advantage for yourself on defense, right? You recover faster from your opponent's attack, right? But in order to offset that, right, to make a character more aggressive, they have to give a character more frame advantage on their attacks, right? So that's why you get characters with really absurd normals like +3, +4, and you're like, this is my life, but you have to deal with it. And then if you have to deal with like a +3 attack in Street Fighter, you know how jailing that is. You're just stuck there dealing with it, right? And so like for a new player to have to be able to escape the system, right? Because now they're gonna say that, hey, IB, and this is for Strive, right? Strive is no longer gonna have that influence, right? Where it's no longer gonna mitigate recovery, right? Or block games or block advantage or whatever. So what this means is that the developers can distinctly craft the characters like for what they want, right? Like, hey, this character is gonna be advantage on this attack, and they don't have to worry about anything else. Any other mechanics like making it more difficult for player to use, I would say. But it's like one thing, right? If you go back to the older Guilty Gears, right? It's really oppressive to deal with characters that have a bunch of plus on their attacks and you can't instant block. You're never going to play the game against a player that knows how to do pressure strings. And that doesn't even require the player to be remotely like super strong. They just have to know what's plus, and they just do it over and over and over and over to your opponent until they die. But now in Strive, they go, so look, you don't have to worry about it because we're not going to have to focus on these attacks all being plus anymore, right? Because we don't have to worry about instant block affecting guard gauge. So I think that's really cool how they decided to do it. By just so right now all it does is what? If you insta block an attack, you recover some meter, and they end up right in front of you. And I think that's a perfect change because now the player is also making a conscious choice to decide that I want to keep my opponent right in front of me rather than pushing them away with like guarding and FD, right? I think that's an incredibly good choice for implementing IB in a new way, right? While still keeping it in the game, right? Before in beta, it didn't even do pushback, or it just built meter, and you're like, what does this do? But now it has a specific defensive mechanic, and I think that's great.
So it sounds like that would to be ambitious to say with those changes alone, older players should probably give the game a chance, just because it sounds like Exerd, what they learned from Exerd, they've applied it to Strive.
Yeah, I mean, IB timing will probably. Oh, that's good too. Because I think IB timing will still be there, right? You're still going to have the inflect, that mental reflex of just trying to press down, back, right? But now, for people that are veterans, it's no longer about just building meter and getting frame advantage. Now it's about, do I want to keep my opponent in front of me or push them back? And that's a big difference that from any of the Guilty Gears and Strive. Because that's not a choice we ever had before, right? Yeah. That's why I'm like, this is an interesting change, and it brings IB in a new light. And that's why I think it's a great change.
So then
do I think it's a good change?
Yeah.
I don't know if I was going to apply a game matches, right? But it's they brought it over and they changed it. And that's what's important, right? Before it literally they brought it over and it just built meter. And like, this is a waste. It's a waste of mechanics. So, but now they made it a new change. It's its own IB. It's its own instant block system. And I think it's great. Yes.
So I know you had a lot to say about that, dude.
I think it's one of my favorite changes that I've seen in the game right now, for sure.
So for new players, then, from what you've seen so far, is there anything that you would encourage new players? Why, or any reasons why that you would encourage new players to play Strive?
It looks great.
It looks great. Yeah, 'cause, for example, for me, I've never played Strive. I mean, not Strive. I never played Exerd. So I've only I'm even though I'm older, like I haven't really played the newer Guilty Gear.
I feel like Strive should be easy to pick up especially for older fighting game players, right? Especially if you have like that, but my reactions, my old bones can't keep up, right? The game has so much block stun and hit stop that you're just like, jab! You're like, oh man, old just be awesome. Oh yeah, it hit! Okay, inputting my buttons!
So it's good for me, that's all I need to know. I can play now.
But at the same time, what I really did too though, it let them flex their animation muscles, right? So they spend more time until they go, the game looks super silky smooth right when they're doing their animations, and it works for old people. But also, I think it just makes the game a lot more easy, like visually, acceptable for players. Right? Like even like non-fighting game players could be like, "Oh yeah, that's a kick that came from the sky," rather than guilty. That looked like it came from the sky, but hit me from behind, and it was a drill. You're like, well, so like, yeah. So that's why I think it's a good pickup, right? Because it has also the Granblue vibe, right? Where it's like, it should be easy to pick up, I think, right? They kind of made the strings a little bit. These are all changes I've noticed, right? I don't necessarily think they're all great, but they should make for hopefully a simpler game, right? Like the Gatlings are limited, right? Like you can, I think from what I've seen, this is all just from what I've seen in the beta, by the way, right? Or from the footage, right? It looks like most characters can only do 2 hits into a move, right? But those 2 hits have so much time for you to convert each individual hit. So like, you're just as a new player, you'd be like, okay, cool, I hit 2 buttons. Yes! Did I hit? No! Okay.
So the transition from Granblue to Strive would be pretty easy, you'd say?
Oh yeah, it should be about the same, I would say.
Okay. There's a lot of new players picked up, I think, Granblue, so if they were interested in Strive, I think.
I just think it's hard because I'm trying to think of like, I think that the feel should be about the same, right? Maybe movement, because you have run, right? I mean, there's no universal defensive mechanics like Granblue.
Who'd you play in Granblue? Is it?
I played Zoe and
okay.
And then the alchemist girl because she's cool. No, but I mainly play Zoe. I played Zoe because I thought she was just neat.
I cut you off there, but like, so the transition from Granblue to Strive, players who are going to play those.
I think it's in a good. So like the way they've done a lot of their animations, right? It feels like it should be more manageable for a lot of players coming into it, while still feeling pretty cozy for a Guilty Gear veteran, I would say. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I don't know about the new air dash. That's probably something that's because the air dash you have to like plant it on the wall and then you bounce off of it, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a new feeling, and it's kind of weird watching your character not immediately move after an air dash.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But all that stuff, right? All that pausing gives more players time to figure out what the hell's going on, right? Mm-hmm. Rather than constantly forcing them to guess. And I think that makes for a little bit more of a more stable game, I would say, rather than a more. Because I think Guilty Gear is pretty chaotic, right? It gets pretty hectic very quickly all of a sudden, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Strive, it still has that energy and like that movement of it all, but it's a lot more like, oh yeah, that's an overhead. Oh yeah, like you can point your finger and follow along with what's going on, right?
Yeah.
But I think like an Action Core Plus R, that sometimes may or may not be possible.
Are there any players that you recommend people to watch for Strive?
I don't really pay too much attention to it. I imagine it's because he has such a good following, he'd be really good for it. Right? Because he's a really great player. But I haven't watched too much of his stream. In all honesty, I'll lurk in there when he does a tournament, but then he's usually talking to his crowd, right? His community, right? Like so. I think one person that I hope goes into it, probably Sajam. I watched a bit of his YouTube videos. He's very great about trying to keep players going and going and going and going.
Nice.
Right? And that's something I could be like, yeah, check him out. I don't know if James is gonna go in. Shay. He is a great resource for going in on learning games too, right? Mm-hmm. I also imagine Brett will be probably streaming.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think he's probably one of the more like. It's like weird because I think he's super popular, but at the same time, he doesn't get enough people to watch him at the same time.
I don't even know his hours, dude.
Huh?
I don't even know his hours that he streams.
I don't think that's probably a big thing. He probably doesn't have a schedule. He probably streams willy-nilly.
Whatever, yeah.
But he's easily one of them. If you ask him a question, he will give you the answer plus 10,000 times more. Yeah, and that's why I think that's why I like watching Brett stream, because I just ask him a question on like anything, and he'll give you a really great answer. Okay.
I want to again. So the main purpose of these types of interviews is to kind of get your background, and I kind of want a place to like record and record just historic events or things that you've done for the community, and that's what I kind of wanted to place an importance on more than anything. So the biggest thing that comes to mind, and one of the reasons why I have you here, is because during, I would say, the golden age of competitive Guilty Gear, when a lot of people were playing, SoCal was like really hot. You held, if you will, called the Pulsr BBQs.
Shut! I don't know I've done of those.
So tell me the origins, how it started, and then where it is right now, I guess.
Where it is right now. Okay. Well, I guess let's start with the origin, because it's a little bit more like. It's pretty modest. So the big problem we had in SoCal, right, was that we had Los Angeles, which had a bunch of players, and then we had San Diego, which had a bunch of players, right? But it was a 2-hour drive between both of them, right? Mm-hmm. And then I realized that I was like, wait, if I host it, I don't have to drive either direction, so they can all just come here. Perfect. and so, but ultimately, it made sense for them to both just meet up at my house, right? Because like, why not? It's an hour between the both of them. They just come out. We have the gatherings and we play casuals, right? And I think at the beginning it was just only a handful of people, like maybe like I want to say a handful, but it was like definitely like double digits already at this point.
Oh yeah.
But these are the gatherings, right? These aren't the Pulsr BBQs, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, what happened is that like everyone got really chummy, right? Because the community was meeting. At this point, I think it was almost at least once a month we definitely had a gathering, right? And maybe even bi-monthly we're doing it for sure, right? So people were always coming down. And that doesn't include the people that were like local. If they were local, I think they were at my house like almost every weekend. When did CT come out? I know I know I had like one of my bigger barbecues during that time. Let's find out. I'll Google it.
Yeah, go Google it. I remember when CT came out like at like Arcade Infinity.
2008.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in my early. I was probably in my early 20s when I started doing this, right? And I know.
But you held it before, like you held it during the Guilty Gear days. Like that's when it started.
That's what I do. That's how I've done so many that I can't really tell because I know it's like I think they didn't get so out of hand. Because I know San Diego would come down, we do birthday parties and stuff, right? We do my birthday parties at my house, right? Because then I would Los Angeles homies could come down and celebrate the San Diego people's birthdays, or vice versa, right? And at that point, yes, we were barbecuing then, right? Because we were coming down for birthday cake. Might as well get some hamburgers going.
And then you got the games going. Is that how it kind of started, or what?
I mean, that's so long.
I think what.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to. Because if you told me when the first barbecue was, I couldn't tell you. I know I've done a bunch of them. You know what's even crazier? I think Brett might have a stream of like one of the first ones actually.
Really?
He might have done a stream. He did a stream in my my bonus room of the stream.
Was streaming even a thing back then? Like
he was not even done with college back then. This is how old it was.
So they like take a video recorder like we used to do back in the days and just record like matches?
Well, I think this is when he was trying to stream a little bit more. Like I think he was actually starting to work on his Twitch quite a bit back then.
So it had to be during CT days then.
Yeah, it was during CT as well. I think when probably people were going. I think it was probably a little bit more casual back then. Like it was more not like a Pulsr BBQ, but then as CT happened, we're like. So probably down Street Fighter 4 time, right? When people were really wanting to start playing Street Fighter 4 and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's just that I think the one that was actually officially like advertised as a barbecue, like on SRK, wasn't until BlazBlue CT, right? It was like, hey, I'm having a barbecue. Here's my address. Everyone show up, and then bam, like freaking like 50 people show up. Like, oh shh.
So from my perspective, as someone who's never been to a Pulsr barbecue, because I think everyone around me has been to one but me. Everyone talked about how legendary they are. So what went on during the Pulsr barbecues? What kind of things did you guys do? What kind of games did you guys play?
It's so funny because I think even during the barbecues at that point, I wasn't actually even playing a whole lot.
So you're hosting, right?
Yeah. I'm too busy walking around and making sure no one's dead.
Yeah.
For the big barbecues, it was definitely Accent Core I think it was Accent Core, right? And then CT just came out, right? So Accent Core and then CT were kind of like right next to each other, if I recall correctly, right? Yeah, Street Fighter 4 was really big. I think it was all anime games. That's probably why it's called an anime barbecue, right? And minus Street Fighter 4. I don't think Tekken was there, but I think it was.
What Marvel?
Huh?
What about Marvel?
I mean, I couldn't say no. I'm pretty sure we played everything. Every game was there. I just wasn't.
How many setups did you have going?
At least 15. At the very least 15.
Holy crap!
Right? So you do at the bare minimum, right? Like, so every room in my house would have at least 4 setups. At least 4. Sometimes like 2 to 4.
This is like Matt's house.
Alright.
And yeah, look at all the goddamn shoes.
That's all we need to see, right? To understand it, right?
Man, it's so Guilty Gear in here. The camera loves you. Look at Psylocke crossing his arms. This is the back of Joe's head. This is the back of Jason G's head. I don't know. David's yelling a lot. Yeah, there's Ramel.
There's Brett over there on the floor too.
Hey, is this the back of Phobos' head? It is.
Yes, it is.
And nobody knows. Nobody knows it's me.
I was like,
that's James right there. His voice.
The guy who makes
this is James's.
Yeah.
This is 7 minutes.
It's all like, it's like, hey, who is that guy? He'd like, I see him sometimes doing random cool shit, but nobody knows who he is.
It's Purin.
Yeah.
And that's Romel right there.
I don't talk on Dustloop very much.
Who?
I like never post.
Purin and that Romel.
I call myself James. I call myself everything else. Ken.
Oh, it's Ken.
Hey, sing
Yeah.
it. Sing it, Ken.
Sing it. What do you want me to sing? Japanese song?
No,
I think he's drunk at this point already.
I'm gonna subtitle this.
Wait, I forgot.
This is my.
How does it go?
Is that your room?
After me.
Yeah.
Midnight. Something, something, something,
That's too short.
Oh my goodness.
Ken, sing Furi Kirita for me.
Oh,
Furi
wait,
Kirita.
Billie Jean. Billie Jean, the my lover. She's a sugar.
Everyone just smiling, happy. Oh man.
Oh my gosh. I do want to ask if there's any certain achievements or just things that you've done for the community that people might not know about that you have done. Like, for example, did you work on those BB intro videos?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was. You can still watch those online. That's how my nephew found out that I played fighting games. He thought I was super professional because he saw my picture on a DVD.
Oh, really?
Someone ripped the beat. Yeah, so we're talking about BlazBlue Calamity, right? Where,
Yeah. So what video did you do?
Access Games brought us all up, like a bunch of like SoCal people to play, like the people that were like specialists in their individual characters.
Mhm.
They brought us up to talk about the characters in detail, and that's what we ended up doing. And so we made tutorial videos, and then we have our match. We made we recorded our voices and stuff, and made little tutorial DVDs that came with the launch of the game. I think you got them even if you got the base version of the game too. Not even pre-order; it was just the base version of the game. And then there was also a match play video, and that's where we had to pose, and then they put the matches up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's how we got caught up. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I don't know if there's anything like outside of I mean, what?
Mm-hmm. No, go.
I mean, yeah. I think the big thing was I gave a place I just had a place for everyone to come down to congregate to, and it was consistent. It was reliable. That's probably the biggest thing. But I mean, the people that know already know, right? The people that at this point now, I don't really do too much. I guess what you can find me do, like when Danger Time was actually at the when I had a place, a physical location to go to.
Yeah.
All the streaming equipment was purchased by me, right? Because I wanted to find out how to help the community in a way without me having to be too involved in the fighting game part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's huge, dude. That's setups are huge, dude. Because they're a pain to bring.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I couldn't do it without some Brando. We do. It's a team effort at that point, right? We all just stay together, we all work together. Sure. Yeah. So it's fun. It was a great way to be a part of the newer generation of players too, right? So that's a lot of fun. What
about your Jill combos, man?
How was that?
That was your glory, wasn't it? That's your glory days, wasn't it?
Was it glory? I don't know if I was famous for it.
Well, I don't know. Is that other stuff you've done?
Oh, I have two things. I remember now. So we'll do the Jill thing, right? So the Jill thing, there's one thing that's actually pretty funny. So for the Jill one, right? Yeah, I was the only player that was playing Jill, and I think the big thing was I was the only player with ability to upload videos. That's probably the biggest part, right? Back in the day when Twitch wasn't a thing, it was Justin TV, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Justin TV.
Yeah, but maybe it wasn't. I kind of forget. But I was uploading Jill stuff, right?
Yeah.
It was always funny watching my videos be done by other people. Yeah, combo. But what was funny is that Maximilian, right? He's super famous now, right? He came into the SRK Jill thread. Was like, yo, I need help. Someone capture the video. Can someone help me get this footage done for Jill? And then everyone was like, Pulsr can do it. Pulsr can do it. Pulsr can do it. Pulsr can do it. And then I was like, I guess I'm doing it. And so if you look at the Maximilian video, all the in-game footage is done by me. It's all recorded by me and all made by me. There's actually some stuff.
Did you do the combos? Did you make the combos yourself?
Everything where Jill's doing something is probably me. There is a few portions that aren't actually Max can play the game too, right? He definitely knows how to play fighting games.
Yeah.
So there's some footage that's here and there that's his, but anytime there's a strategy or a technique, it's definitely my recorded video. And if you go to my YouTube channel, I actually just recently unlisted it. And so you can see all the footage and all the notes that are there for it. And then
wow.
ended up on a because because I had to hit it right because Max would go to my YouTube channel and pilfer it, right? Yeah. So another fun thing is I don't know if you see my Moo video. Have you ever seen my Moo combo video?
I want to say I have.
It was a combo video. It was a tutorial video on how to play Moo, right? There was a setup where Moo. So in that game, right? You know you can OTG people, right? You hit them, right?
With
and it was very common to like slide underneath them after you like hit them, right?
Yeah.
During the back roll, right? So Moo could do that with her 2D, right? Where she puts up the Stein or whatever, and then it would.
Oh yeah.
And then everyone would be like, "Why the what?" And she would slide underneath with a Stein. And then you would come down with a cross up. You just land and hit them on the head or whatever, right? That setup, I ended up in a Japanese forum somewhere, and they called it the Pulsr, the American setup. And someone told me about that, and I laughed super hard. Cause I think it was James that found it. Yeah, so that just made me funny. So that was the first time I was like, "Whoa, I have international appeal."
That's actually pretty funny, dude.
Yeah. So that's just something funny that I did. It was just really tiny. That makes me smile. I'm smiling so hard because of that video.
That's actually pretty cool, dude.
Oh yeah. I do help Kevin with Dustloop every once in a while.
Oh yeah. So
there's some video clips that are definitely edited and made by me that go up there. They're very short, but it's I like to find ways that I can help people that in small insignificant ways. And that's what I've enjoyed doing.
For this format, or for this, I guess this interview thing I'm doing, who would you want to see like more history on, or who would you want to see interviewed next?
Brett would be the big for me. Or if you want to get someone that no one knows about, Jeff would be great. Jeff would be really great. Jeff would be great. Or the Biter, he'd be great for it.
The Biter, yeah.
Oh, one person I think would be also really good. That's probably more focal to the scene. That I think is the most underappreciated person. Is Kevin, the Lord of Dustloop.
Of course. I did plan.
I would recommend him, and he probably deserves way more.
I was thinking Sideblade too, because Sideblade uploaded a lot of videos at a point too.
You gotta mention his YouTube channel, right? Like non-stop video footage every day.
Yeah,
he would be great, and he's getting really. People are looking at him and stuff because he's been posting recently too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has a voice.
Yeah, he has a.
And if they watch the Pulsr BBQ video, they can also see his face. Yeah, no, he'd be great. But if I had to pick someone, it'd be Brett.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sideblade is actually a great choice of Kevin. Those are my three that I would definitely choose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also basing it on people that are probably definitely say, yeah, why not? For the interview.
Thanks. Well, I wish I had more battery, but I think we could have talked definitely a lot longer about other stuff. But sorry to cut you off, man.
That's fine.
But thanks for setting some time up with me today. I appreciate it, and I hope you like the edits when this actually comes out.
All right, I'll let you go so your battery's gonna die.
Okay.
All right, peace out.
Bye.
Later.